Okay, 55, they want us to, and notice this is a checkpoint. This means by now you should have mastered this material, right? So if I ever put one of these on a test from this point forward, you should never get them wrong. That's what this is indicating. So it says simplify each, but then in E and F, make sure the answers are in scientific notation. Okay, so let's do this. So for A, we have 4 squared times 4 to the 5th. Remember, when we multiply, the powers get added, so it's 4 to the 7th. Okay, now, I'm guessing that they said you could leave it in exponential form, right? I mean, I would state you may leave your answer in exponential form, but if they didn't, which they didn't, you really have to multiply 4 times 4. So let's assume they meant you could leave your answer in scientific notation. Okay, for B, power to power means that you multiply the exponents, right? So this becomes 5 to the 0 to the third is 5 to the 0 times 3, which is 5 to the 0. 0 times 3 is 0. So if anything to the 0 is 1, so this just becomes 1, right, for B. For C, we have x to the negative 5th times x to the third. So that's really like x to the negative 5th plus 3, right? You add the exponents, which is x to the negative 2. But remember, that's not simplified. You can't have a negative exponent. You have to write it as 1 over x squared, right? Having a negative exponent is not simplified. Okay, for D, let's make some space here. For D, we have, again, power to power. So I'm going to distribute that in, the 3 in. X to the negative 1 to the third is negative 1 times 3. That's negative third. And then y to the second to the third is 2 times 3, which is 6. Again, the negative 3 is not simplified, so this must be written as y to the 6th over x to the positive third power. Now, E and F, let's make some space, are the ones that they said make sure your answers are in scientific notation. So this I have 8 times 1.6, right? 8 times 1.6 is 12.8, right? 12.8 times 10 to the 5th times 10 to the negative 2. You add the exponents. 5 and negative 2 is 3, so 10 to the third. But remember, this is not scientific notation. This first number must be between 1 and 10. So this becomes 1.28 times 10 to the 4th power. That's in scientific notation. And then F, we're going to divide, right? So 4 divided by 5 is 0.8. 10 to the third divided by 10 to the 5th is 10 to the negative second. 3 minus 5 is negative 2. But again, this 0.8 right here is not between 1 and 10, right? So I have to make it 8 times 10 to the minus third. Now, scientific notation, it's okay to have that negative power of 10, right? So don't get confused. You don't have to make it 1 over 10 to the, right? Scientific notation just means multiplied by a power of 10. That power of 10 could be positive or negative.